If you look at the two photoplay medal winners prior to Robin Hood, they were very small films, humoresque, Tolerable David. Robin Hood was a blockbuster, and that really was the first to establish this idea of what we now call a blockbuster or a tentpole film. And to do it so artistically was really quite a marvelous thing. And the industry appreciated Robin Hood because it galvanized the industry after a terrible slump. There had been a succession of scandals. There really was a financial meltdown in Hollywood. And Robin Hood put the industry, most of it, back to work. And it re-energized the film industry. And because it was done with such style by somebody who was of quality, I suppose the story that I like best about Robin Hood, because so many of the stories about anything about Fairbanks or Robin Hood is apocryphal, but this one is true, we can verify it, is that Douglas Fairbanks was so terribly proud of his set. It was the largest set ever built in Hollywood, still the largest. It was 90 feet tall, that Norman English castle. And Fairbanks, being Fairbanks, had to show it off like a big kid. So he brought his friends around, and amongst them was Charlie Chaplin. And Charlie Chaplin looked at this huge set with this enormous drawbridge and said to his friend, Douglas Fairbanks, "Doug, I'd like to use this in one of my comedies." And Fairbanks thought of this austere, big, enormous set, and what could it be for a comedy? So he said, "What were you thinking, Charlie?" And Charlie said, "I'll show you." So Charlie got behind this big drawbridge, and then, wait a minute, and then the drawbridge came slowly down to this huge castle. And Charlie came out in a nightshirt with his cat underneath his arm with an empty milk bottle, and he put out the cat, put out the milk bottle, scratched himself as he was ready to go to bed, and walked back, and the huge drawbridge just sort of raised up. And it was a marvelous comedy idea, and but Fairbanks was too astute of a producer to let this huge, enormous piece of property be used in another film, so it was never used. A real loss to film comedy. I think it would have been awfully funny.